All right, guys, we're here for a big one. TEQ Broly. Now, there are moments where they could do EZAs that are good or bad, and in the grand scheme of things, it doesn't really matter too much, right? Like, Int Broly is not actually going to be remembered in Dokkan history. Probably not. He's not, like, horrible enough like Jiren or something like that, you know, or Raditz, where he'll be remembered forever. He's just kind of like a mid-forgettable character. This TEQ Broly is very popular, though, so I do think it is a good idea for Dokkan to not mess this guy up, right? Like, Int Broly, I feel like is not as popular as this guy was. This was one of the more popular units in Dokkan history that is not, you know, like a Dokkan Fest LR character, right? Like, you know, an anniversary character, worldwide download celebration character, something like that. This Broly was very popular. So, we have translations from the homie Garesh. Let's go ahead and jump in. TEQ Broly. Now, defensive mechanics would be nice. Keep in mind that the other TEQ Broly is defensive god in slot 1. So, really, as long as this guy can just hold... I mean, I don't want to say just hold his own against normals, but if he could hold his own against, like, all normals and then potentially some supers in some instances... I think he'll be good. He is going to be able to do a god amount of damage when you go into his transformed state. Because, remember, he has this active. Wait, it's right here. Which, 24 key, 48% attack. So, on his active turn, he is going to be hitting real hard. So, let's take a look. Okay, so here, let me lower the zoom a little bit. Bam, perfect. Okay, so, he now is Resurrected Warrior, category key 4, 150% of stats, or Extreme Tech key 4, and 100% of stats. Okay. 12 key super attack, Bloody Smash, 30% attack for 1 turn, colossal damage, and great lower enemy defense. No defense. No defense. Alright, I mean, that's not a good start, but we'll see if there's a reason for that. Great lowering enemy defense, for the most part, doesn't matter too much. 18 key, so he's stacking attack. Greatly stacks attack. Greatly raised defense for 1 turns, 50% defense. Mega colossal damage, and then massively lower enemy defense. So now he's going to be doing some attack stacking. Okay, that does make sense for like a Broly character. And he is getting defense right there, but again, no defense on the 12 key. Let's look at the passive. So he gets 3 key, 200% stats. That's obviously good. And then 120% attack and defense on super. And then another 120% attack and defense on 18 key super. Okay, that's a lot. So he used to have... Damn. Okay, he got quite the upgrade. 200%, then 120, and then another 120. Okay. Then he gets 50% attack when attacking enemies and attack down or defensive down. I mean, sure. You know, like, there's spots where we could use that. I mean, right now, the definitive fight, you know, you can't debuff at all. But there are many difficult fights where you can attack debuff or a defensive debuff, right? There's a lot of them. He gets 3 key. Okay, so he gets 3 key at the start of turn, by the way, which is obviously new. He did not have that before. And then he's going to get another 3 key, and an additional that has a high chance to be a super against 1 enemy. That's pretty good. Okay, so we have a guaranteed additional in there. But again, remember, an additional is just going to be kind of, you know, it's just damage. Which, I mean, I think about some of these fights, and it's better to move slow. So this guy's additionals and base are mostly... I don't want to call them worthless, but it's giving you no defensive value. It's just like empty damage. His 12 key attacks. All right. And then 5 key additional super against 2 or more enemies. Okay, so not too crazy. He's a stat monster. Nothing insane, but I think, you know, he'll probably work effectively, you know, next to the base TEQ Broly in slot 1. Remember that this guy... I mean, I assume he's going to just keep the same transformation condition because he has an ideal condition. Just Turn 4, start a battle. That doesn't need to be adjusted at all. That's perfect. So, okay. All right, let's see. Keep in mind, by the way, that this guy at the start of the fight will not link with AGL Dokkan Fest LR Broly, the Dragon Ball Super Broly, which is a huge Dokkan L, by the way, that they have Dragon Ball Super Broly and DBZ Broly have the same name when they're not the same character at all. They're not even close to the same character. So I hate that they have the same name. Okay, so now we're in Legendary Super Saiyan Broly. Yeah, okay, so it looks like there was no... Even when they do change transformation conditions, which they have done before, like LR Int Cell is an example I could think of, they changed what his transformation condition would be, but they did not tweet it. We didn't find out until the actual data download hit. So that's something that's very important to keep in mind. So his condition could have changed, although I do not expect it whatsoever. Okay, so here we go. Transformed, 30% attack and defense, colossal damage, great lower enemy defense. Now we're looking good. And then 18 key, 50% attack and defense, 1 turn, mega colossal damage, massively lowers enemy defense. Okay. Passive. Let's see what you've got, my boy. 4 key, 220% attack and defense. Sure. So he was just... It was just a little bit of an upgraded version of his base passive previously. Okay. So now he has 4 key, 220% attack and defense. 120% attack and defense, and additional has a high chance to be a super. When performing a super attack, so that's an extra additional added in there. Okay. Then he gets 166% attack and guard, and extreme class allies chance to crit 6% for 2 turns. Okay. So he guards when you do his 18-key super attack. Let me just take a glance at his 18-key super animation again. It's been a while since I've used this guy. So this animation right here gives him guard. Okay, sure. Yeah, this is kind of the iconic, attack. That's the counter to the family Kamehameha, right? That right there. Okay, so when you get that off, you are going to be guarding at that point. I mean, that is kind of enough. Looking at the stats and the additionals that this guy has, I do think he'll be sufficient once he transforms. Base is not looking too crazy. No defense here. I can't believe they did that. I mean, that will matter. And some of these fights are super, and for, dude, this is 2.5 million supers turn 1. Like, so he could get killed in base. No doubt about that. You have to be careful with him in base form. But it should just be turn 4 and he transforms. Alright, so he'll be guarding. Remember, just in slot 2 next to LR TEQ Broly, we're looking good. Like, it's okay if this guy's not a slot 1 character, right? Like, he's got a perfect partner that he's going to be next to. Oh, by the way, they are at 6 links. They have 6 links together. The 2 transformed Broly's are at 6 links together. Okay, that's perfect. Then he gets another 100% attack when attacking enemies in attack down or defensive down. Again, there are fights. I mean, if we fight, the Bulmas or something like that, maybe like Cell Max. I mean, there are legitimate fights where that matters. Then 4 key and an additional is a great chance of being a super when facing 1 enemy. So he could quad super pretty easily. Then 6 key and additional super against 2 or more enemies. I think he's going to be pretty good. Because we just view him as slot 2 transformed with this guy in slot 1. Right? Well, as soon as it loads. There we go. This guy in slot 1. And then we're going to have this guy in slot 2. Right? So this will be our rotation. And then this guy now will be guarding. And he'll be able to quad super. How much is key going to be a problem? Let's see. 4 key. And then 4 key. So not too much. We only need to worry about getting to 18 key. 18 key at the minimum is what he has to be at. And I mean, it looks like he's going to be getting 8 key most of the time. And then if there are 2 enemies, I mean, it's just better for him if there's multiple enemies. A huge thing they did here was they buffed this, and they gave this to him in base, right? He did not have this in base. Yeah. That's helpful, but the guard obviously is huge. Okay, because the reason I'm looking at ki, like how much ki might be an issue for him, is because already with the team you have LR Turles who needs 24 ki, Selmax does not struggle for ki, but this LR TEQ Broly early on does struggle for ki. Like, ki is an issue for this guy his first turn, right before you pop his active and before he builds up a little bit right here. I'm not really too sure, like in terms of like a ranking or something like that. But I mean, this guy's a direct help. I mean, I would argue it would have been better if he was even stronger. I think because people would have just been a lot more excited. But I don't look at this guy as a loser. He's gonna do unbelievable damage once he transforms next to this Broly, right? We'll see what his stats are going to look like. Like, a 3 million super could be trouble, but I don't think he's going to be a bitch in slot 2. Like, his stats should be much higher than Jiren, considering this guy could quad super. And then let's see again. So, he'll guaranteed super, then it's a 50% for the second super, then it's a 70% for the third super, and then you have the hidden potential system. Oh, you know what he doesn't have? Crit 6% for 2 turns. Yeah, interesting. He does not crit. No crit, no super effective against all types. So, I mean, anything could be good on this guy. He's gonna kind of have a job of doing damage. This is a character. I think it all works. Raw defense, raw attack, additional crit dodge. I don't really think this guy has a wrong build. He could use everything. All of it could be good. I probably will build this guy like an offensive powerhouse myself, I'm thinking. But again, I think all 5 options, raw attack, raw defense, additional crit, dodge, all have value. Additional is worthless for him in base. Oh, it's just empty damage that's accelerating you to the death phases faster, which is not good, usually. It's not a race to kill the boss until later on in the fight. Once you're in transform state, additionals are really good for him there because he's going to be doing really good damage, and then he's going to be getting more defense as well. So yeah, in terms of build, you could go for anything. I don't think I have a relevant Yellow Coin LR tier list. I got to these 1 day too late. I should have did the EZA TUR list 2 days ago and then a Yellow Coin LR list today. Do I have a Yellow Coin LR list? I do, right here. I probably would change things around quite a bit. Bulma and Turles would be on this S+ tier, for sure. Yeah, Ribrianne is the hell out of there. STRUI Goku's going to be the hell out of there as well. Oh, no, Ginyu. The Ginyu Force. No. Ginyu Force is going to drop completely. With the increase in difficult content, Ginyu Force is unrunnable now. Special pose can't be used. So the Ginyu Force isn't even on this list. So STRUI Goku will remain. He'll be 10. STRUI Goku will be 10. And then LR Turles. I think Broly could probably be... I don't think I'll like Broly as much as the Universe 7 EZAs. But, I mean, he potentially could be in range more so. Turles is probably better than TEQ Broly. Probably. But, I mean, Turles, we also don't have, like, a real setup for Turles to look at his best. We'll see. I think that this Broly is very good. Like, he does fulfill the role he needs to. Again, additionals, crit, dodge, any of it, I think will work. Yeah, so, again, this is a character where I think there is no wrong potential system build. So, that's good. So, let me know what you guys think. This is definitely going to be, unlike Int Broly, who is very situational against certain enemies, I think this LR TEQ Broly does actually buff this movie boss's team. So, that looks good.